Let's go to the next one. Cruz. Marilyn Alberto Cruz is the writer.
One, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
You, Mr. Reicher.
I represent Marilyn Alberto Cruz.
I
I represent Marilyn Alberto Cruz.
Can someone move the microphone closer? No, not
Would that be better?
Forget about it. Move that one to the side and pull that one closer to you. The whole thing. Thanks.
We were here about a year ago, and variance was granted this application. Through a series of mistakes, we are here again tonight because things weren't built the way they were originally approved. That's my client's son, who was, she was a euro when she granted the variance. And he was a euro. This is a series of mistakes. There were two site plans. One, the original site plan which was submitted, another one which was prepared by the architect. The one that was approved was the one that was prepared by the architect, and the site plan that was worked on by the contractor was the site plan, was another site plan. It's marginally different. I know I had personal experience when I was in the Army.
Forget about it. Forget about it. We really don't care. Hold on one second. Let's cut to the issue. Mr. Melfi.
Yes, sir.
What's the issue with this?
They built it in the wrong spot,
You're building in the wrong spot.
basically.
Okay. How much wrong spot did they build it in? For lack of a better term. How much wrong spot?
The front yard was approved at 25 feet, it came in at 23.83 feet.
Who had a wrong measurement?
Mr. Meyer, it's really, if you take a look at the original drawing, you'll see that the application had only one number on this side. When we put in the plan for construction, other numbers, the house was slightly changed on the angle. The contractor did it in the first one, he didn't see.
I hope he has insurance.
To do this, we found the difference is de minimis.
That's what you say?
The picture is up there. I have the architect, we can go over it and show you what he did.
He better do a good job if he's going to win this one. Okay.
What's the condition of the house? It's fully built?
The house is built, the only thing it needs now is the sheet rock. Otherwise, the whole outside.
All the framing, all the.
Everything is come up. There's been no stop order on this. None issued.
We could put a stop work order on, as a courtesy, we did not put a stop work.
And we stopped, and you said there was a problem.
But we could put a stop work on it.
Well, but Mr. Melfi and Mr. Weiss know each other for a long time, so.
We'll shake hands and we make it.
Let's go.
Right. Well, you can just argue, but not fight.
Okay.
So it's a foot and a half?
Yep.
And the other side is 3 inches.
3 inches I don't care about, but foot and a half.
See,
I can't see the difference really over there.
part of the problem,
Yeah, let's see, Mr. Melfi.
Can you use the mic?
oh, I'm sorry.
And then she can't see if that doesn't work.
Part of the problem was, we requested the as-built. This as-built was done October 30th, 2019. We didn't get it till December 4th.
Well, I guess somebody on the way realized somebody had.
I'm not gonna make assumptions, I'm just telling you what's on the piece of paper.
Okay.
So in those 6 weeks, the work continued.
Well, I don't think it will continue, whether they continue or not, that's a different issue, but.
I'm saying, if they recognize a mistake was made in October, and then continue, and then
Why don't we get the architect to testify as to, where's the builder?
Mr. Cabrera.
Where's the builder?
Builder's here.
The builder, let's get the builder up here. How can he make such a mistake?
Is
the worst building I've seen.
Is the only difference the location of the house? Is the house is otherwise?
You know, from front to back, it's the same size as it.
Well, we didn't do the building in a lot coverage because it's not fair.
Okay, let's get this guy, this gentleman here was the contractor.
Let's do that first.
Let's go him first.
Where everybody.
Let's take your name,
My
your
name's
last
Ralph
name.
Perez,
One
P-E-R-E-Z.
second, 1 second.
Not too fast. Not too fast. Your full name, please.
Ralph Perez,
Can you spell your last name, please?
P-E-R-E-Z.
Okay. What's your company name?
I'm a project manager for the company.
So you're not the builder?
I'm not the owner.
I'm sorry?
The owner's not here.
Answer my question. I don't understand. Are you the builder?
I'm the project manager in charge of the project.
Who's the builder?
Success Investment is the name of the company.
I'm sorry?
Success Investment LLC is the name of the company.
And is Success Investment LLC a licensed home builder in the state of New Jersey?
Yes,
You're the GCs on the job. Success Investment LLC is managing and GCing the job.
correct.
You're the owner of the Success Builders LLC?
No. Project manager.
Does that mean it's an investment construction? Is it building it for a homeowner? or-
Yes.
Everybody, please use the mic, it's hard to pick up anything here.
Mr. Rosen had a good question before, which I didn't really hear the answer. And then, from the front of the building to the back. No, that's right, Mr. Varner. Sometimes you look like Mr. And you guys have the same beard. Okay, so, I think the answer was, we can't, we're keeping it entertaining, otherwise it's not funny. Okay, so let's understand one thing. From the front to the back, to the rear of the building, is that the same measurements as originally on the plan that was approved? That's the first question I think we need to have established. Is that fair, Mr.
Oh, yeah, the
Rosen?
architect.
Mr. Varner, I was kidding.
The measurement on the plan showed 8 feet.
8 feet from the front to the rear?
No, on the side.
On the side.
On the side.
That's the 3-inch that was off.
Right.
Okay.
No.
No?
8 feet on that side.
Then I read the plans all myself. See? Okay. So let's understand what.
Somebody goes to the diagram on the board and points out the person who's talking about.
I have it.
The architect was here a minute ago. Could the architect go to the drawing and tell
Mr.
us?
Rosen, use the mic.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So from north to south, is the building the same size as on the plans? Or they squared it out?
I think that was the problem, they didn't square it out. The house was at a skew.
Mr. Chairman, I think it would be helpful if the architect
Yeah, let
went.
the architect go.
Okay, good. Let's take it.
Good evening. If you state your full name for the record, spelling your last, please.
Certainly, Jose Carballo, C-A-R-B as in boy, A-L-L-O.
Can you go to the diagram, take the mic with you, and just take us through what was planned and what was actually built?
Jose, you're a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey.
Yes, I am, 09174, that's valid.
Did we swear you in, or did we move you right past that?
You just went right through.
All right, so if you raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you offer to receive is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, very good, Jose, and I've seen Mr. Cabrera in the field, Mr. Carvalho, I'm sorry, in the field for probably 30 years. If his license is still in good standing, he is certainly an expert in the field of architecture. And we have a house that seems to have moved just a little bit.
Just a tad.
Let's explain that.
And what happened was, the existing house, which we were working from, is at an angle. Some of the original surveys that we received did not have the 2 dimensions, it only had the 1 dimension. So at the time, it was thought that the house was square, just because it was an old survey, it seemed to be at an angle. We came in front of this board, we got this building approved, and we got it approved as per the profile that the dotted or broken line shows, which is the darker line on this side. That house, or that addition, was at an angle to this house to represent that, it wasn't square with the house, but that it did have that 8-foot setback from Nunn Avenue, which was the variance that we received from this board. During construction, not sure really what happened, but the house was tilted at an angle, and what we have now, the existing house, is the lighter dark line, or solid line, which is what was built on site. And what happened with it is, it was a few inches here on the front, and it was 1.3 back in here, since the house is at an angle. So instead of the 8-foot setback on that side, what we have is a 6.7, which is like 6 feet, 8 inches. And that's the setback.
Just be sure, the dotted line is the planned building and the solid line is what was actually built, or the other way around?
It's the other way around. The broken line is as approved,
Right.
the dark line is as built.
Okay.
I wish it was the other way around, but it isn't.
And the structure called existing story, that has remained?
That has remained. That house was not, was removed, it just remained like that.
So you're saying that the measurements were taken from the existing building, rather than the property line, or is that what you're saying?
Right, what they did is the dimension was taken from the house itself, and not from the setbacks, and that's what caused the difference in the positioning of the house. Now, I know one of the questions I was asked before is, was the house enlarged? The house was not enlarged. The house has the same area, the same dimensions as the original house that was approved in front of this board. There was no intention of increasing the size of the house.
Were you, as architect, were you on site when this was done?
No, we didn't have site supervision service. So that was the mistake. It was all based on just the angle of the existing house. So I was just reminded of it. Well, it is a corner house. If it was against another house and we had there was a setback, I think it would be, a little bit more difficult to take on the Water Street. And, the lighting there will be there. A foot, in my professional opinion, is not something that will be so noticed. And, we're, if approved, we're willing to put more landscaping or more greenery on that side, just to minimize the effect of the mistake. I'll call it a mistake, which is what it was.
So the greatest impact is on the rear yard setback?
That's correct. As you can see, that goes back in here, and there's a couple of inches here, about 4 inches at this point. The back is the one that where the mistake is. So the whole house wasn't moved for 3. It was just canted or an angle, and the rear portion of the house is the one that's the most rigid into that setback.
I just asked Mr. Northey a question. Did I not need to submit a foundation as-built plan?
That was what we were working
So it wasn't submitted?
for. We didn't get it until the date of December 4th.
Are you allowed to continue construction without?
I didn't become aware of it until I was advised by the building subcode official that there was a problem with it.
I think Mr. Perez wants to say something. Hold on, with the mic.
Mr. Perez, can we swear you in, sir? Okay, so if you raise your right hand, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you offer this evening is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, so just stay on that mic so we make sure.
Okay. When the project started, we found that the section of the house that was going to be stained
Slow down.
needed to be underpinned because the new addition was lower than the existing. So the job was stopped at that point until we hired an engineer and had that done.
So I understand, the existing house needed, the foundation needed to be underpinned,
Correct.
and that was what?
And
Erosion or?
basically it almost had no foundation.
No, okay.
So we had to underpin it. So the job stopped there until the underpinning was approved. We did that. We got to go ahead to start to continue. And we did that.
Was the underpinning changed the footprint of the
No,
existing?
no, what I'm trying to get to is when we finished that part, right away I asked, can I continue now with the rest of the foundation? I did my foundation. I did my block, I finished my block. It's my first time working in Teaneck, so I don't know what the building department asks for and doesn't ask for.
Friends with him first.
So I asked at every step.
Yes, who?
The inspector.
Okay.
In this case, it was the guy doing the footings and foundations and the masonry or block work. We continued, we started. And I have all my inspection stickers.
So the inspectors on site said you were okay, everything was according to
Had
plan?
I been told at any moment there was an issue or we need a survey for you to continue, I would have provided a survey and we would have noticed this way before.
When did you learn that you needed a footing and foundation survey?
That survey was brought in, not for that. That survey was brought in so that we can get the deck in the rear of the house approved. In the signed drawings, it says that I have to, not to wait for the deck until we get an as-built.
But you had your as-built footing and foundation survey in October.
No, he says that he requested it in October.
No, the date on from Kessler is October 30th, 2019.
This survey was done in October, and it didn't, again, according to Mr. Malcolm, October 30th of 2019.
There were two different ones. One came in October 30th, it didn't have the front yard setback on the left-hand side.
And then that was revised in January.
Right, there was another one done, because there were two different emails that were sent out. We got the survey December 4th, we sent the letter out December 4th at 4 o'clock, requesting that additional front yard setback.
My question is,
Yes.
when this was done in October, you had a footings and foundation survey done in October. Why wasn't that presented to Borough Hall until sometime December 5th? It was, let's say, a full month later.
Because the only reason we had that done is so that we can get the final measurement for the deck in the rear. Our intent was not to bring this in, we were never asked to bring in as-built for the foundation. Which is why I was saying how at every step I was asking. That I had made so that we can move on with the deck. And that's when they brought to our attention that there was an issue. That's when the town brought it to my attention. And we brought this in for the deck. We didn't bring that in to confirm the foundation.
Dan, do you require footing and foundation surveys?
I believe what happened, I can't testify to the fact. The inspector that went out there saw that something was skewed. And that's when he asked them for the foundation location. Because, sometimes you just look at things, you don't know if they're wrong or not, but play safe. And
You're not walking up on this house and you're gonna say it's a foot out. It's not that kind of an inspector would have, and he would have stopped me had this inspector seen something
No,
wrong.
listen, the right answer here is certainly not.
You know?
The right answer is certainly not to blame the inspector.
I'm not-
Either way.
I'm
The
letting you
right
know
answer-
exactly what happened.
I understand. The right answer is, you could have gotten a footing and foundation survey before you did anything else to make sure that your footings and foundations were in the right place.
Right.
It would have cost you $500-600. You would have avoided all of this, paying Mr. Riker, all of these things, and you didn't. And whether the town asked for it or required it, or whether this is Teaneck or Saddle River, a prudent builder probably would get a footing and foundation survey after they just poured a whole boatload of concrete, just to be sure.
You're right.
Okay, that's the answer.
Okay.
All right? It isn't that we forgot to tell you. Okay.
Not what I meant to, that's not what I meant to portray.
So you're a foot, you're a foot, 1.3 feet off. It's up to the board certainly how it considers this. But it is the occasional great mystery of Teaneck that houses, once they're built, are somehow just a tiny
They
bit off.
move, they move.
The earth curves a little differently in Teaneck is my theory. But
We didn't-
somehow
we
or
didn't make it
another.
any bigger at all. It's-
I understand, it's just not in the right
it's just-
spot. It's the same size, it's just not in the right spot.
but I
There are guys
understand-
called surveyors who actually like lay stuff out. You know, they put flags and pins in the ground where the sides of the footing.
Those things over there?
Yeah, those colored things with flags on them, those are supposed to tell you. But again, it is what it is.
Let's see if there's anyone from the public who wants to be, or anyone from the public having any interest in this case to be heard. Yeah, but before, let's just see if there's anyone here. See, they're lining up. Yes,
Take a number.
Mr. Barter.
Mr. Melford, so the house is slightly larger.
It's skewed and large.
Right. So the question.
It's not larger, it's skewed.
I don't know, the difference between, except on the north side, the difference between the dotted line and the solid line indicates a larger piece of construction. It's skewed and it's slightly larger. The question I have is, did the original application have require a variance for building coverage?
Well, the original application showed the side yard at 8 feet.
I understand that, but was there a coverage issue as well? Not just the,
The original building, according to the plan I have, the original building coverage proposed was not 30 feet. We gave them a...
Please be quiet.
We gave them the building coverage because it was there.
oh, so it was,
Well, according to his plans, his original building coverage was 20. What he came in on the original plan was 30.5.
Has any landscaping been done yet?
No.
Can I make a suggestion? The board thinks this is a logical solution, and so, I don't think we're gonna ask you to take the building down. That's not, it doesn't make sense. Mistakes have been made. But perhaps you could mitigate, perhaps you could soften an error made by putting landscaping in part of the project that has encroached more than it was originally planned. Does that sound like something you'd be willing to do?
Mr. Rosenbaum.
There will be no problem with that.
The architect said he would do that. The area was 1.23, all the way feet. All the way on this side?
Yeah.
All the way on this side.
I mean, but again, it doesn't make sense for us to say, tear this building down. That's not gonna happen. On the other hand, a mistake's been made, and we'd like to at least recognize the fact that you've now encroached on the property more than you should have. So let's just cover up that area with attractive landscaping, and I don't know if my colleagues are willing to agree with this solution. If they are, then that we would call it a day.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think part of my testimony was that we'll do that, and as we get towards the back, we're gonna do plush or total landscaping just to mitigate that intrusion into the.
Well, I think you need to make that kind of landscaping all the way, so it looks uniform.
That would be fine.
Belongs there,
That would be fine.
as opposed to like just on the back side.
We'll do that as well, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Dr. Mulligan, please.
I understand what kind of stuff is up.
Give Dr. Mulligan a mic, please.
I understand we're faced with a situation that was unplanned. But the only thing I'm thinking of, just as like, no offense to anybody, like a rational person, if we lost space and we put more plantings in there, we're losing more space. And I'm just concerned that this is gonna be
well, we'll make something bigger, because this seems to be a reoccurring thing, and we'll just put like more bushes in.
But I think we're putting more bushes on a corner lot, so it's not like we're encroaching into another property.
Right, but.
No, I hear, I get what you're saying.
When they changed the, when they did the foundation, they required to have inspection. So in theory, had the inspection been done,
The inspections were done, this was caught because the inspector.
Okay.
saw
That's good.
all right,
Okay. All right, so what are we gonna do? Did you have a suggestion? Let's
Just confirm, there's no property on the left side, right? No. In the corner.
That means on to the south.
yes.
The south has no neighboring, there's a street.
Park Avenue back. The next neighbor, no neighbor.
To the north is a neighbor, but not to the
Yeah,
south.
over here is a two-person.
All right, fine. Whatever the board wants, say something.
So are we ready to go into executive session, or?
Well, we certainly,
I think the applicant is
well,
already.
let's, anything else you want to say?
No, we tend to agree with Mr. Barr, Mr. Rosen.
I started tonight, I mean, God, it cannot be undone.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that there's nothing, you recognize that a remedy is appropriate, and you recognize that you're willing to do the remedy, and I think the board has suggested a remedy, so I assume that the testimony is done.
That's like the remedy because of the point.
Well, I'll make a motion if my brother doesn't want to agree with it, we'll vote against it. I would make a motion that we accept the, what would you call it? As a built?
Well, you're granting an additional 1.3 feet of
Yeah,
variance.
okay.
And also in the front. Remember, the front
Right.
is off a little bit too.
So the motion would be, in order to remedy the mistake that's been made, the applicant has agreed to do appropriate landscaping, and I would make a motion to approve a revised plan.
Second by
Ms. Honus.
Ms. Holness, second by Ms. Honus. Roll call,
Hang
please.
on, I would think though,
Honest.
I would think that you have to add the additional square footage into the variance.
Whatever it is, will be added.
No, that's fine, but he was granted a variance for the, you know, for the building coverage. And
whatever it
the
is.
coverage changed.
Okay, so whatever it is, it is.
Mr. Barr?
No, you cannot talk, Mr. Reicher, you cannot talk. In the executive session, you guys can sit down and we'll figure out what to do.
So I would think Mr. Melfi is going to have a revised plan that you have, right?
They're gonna have to give me a revised plan showing what you want for landscaping, so we'll.
Okay. So subject to the approval of Mr. Melfi, I think he understands what we're trying to accomplish here. Subject to his approval of a revised plan to add additional landscaping, I would make that motion. I think it's already been decided.
All right, roll call, I'll sit down.
Mr. Barner,
Yes.
Ms. Honus,
Yes.
Dr. Mulligan,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rosen.
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. West Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome, good luck. Okay, so that was that one, so this one is starting also.